All right, y'all. Happy Talk About It Tuesday. We are back again. Guys, I'm so excited because I have a special guest. My good friend Jennifer Marks is joining us today. She too is a health coach. However, she focuses on gluten-free, specifically helping the family kind of start to navigate this new journey that they're on. But you also deal with people that have been gluten-free and just kind of want to make sure they're on the right track. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. Hey there. Thanks for having me, Karen. I'm so glad to be here. Hi, everybody. So I help moms and families understand and incorporate gluten-free living. So wherever they are on the path, some people are just beginning, some have been trying to figure it out, and others have been gluten-free for a while and realize they're missing some key points that they never had in their lifestyle. And that's why they're still getting sick or don't feel so great. So I help them figure it out and create a lifestyle they love.
Excellent. So you kind of you do the whole gamut there.
Yeah.
The reason I asked Jennifer to come in is we have been talking about gut health. We've been talking about gut health for over a year now. But just recently, we just ran that workshop that y'all took part in, which was really interesting. We talked about how our gut affects our hormones as we get older. We're going through perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. But one of the other things we talked about when it comes to gut health is we also talked about how it affects our hormones. It affects our skin. It affects our mood. And as we've gotten older, and I shared this in the workshop, I shared this with numerous of my clients. As I've gotten older, I've noticed that I can't enjoy some of the foods that I used to enjoy. So we love Friday night pizza night. We've done it for years. It's just our thing. We used to order like the thickest crust possible. And now I've gotten to the point where I can still enjoy pizza night, but I have to obviously limit the number of slices and I have to go with a thin crust because it's really affecting my gut. One of those reasons being as we get older, we start to get those food intolerances that we've never experienced before, just because we have those fluctuating hormones. Our estrogen really affects how we are digesting. So I got to talking to Jennifer about, is there something I should be doing? I don't classify myself as gluten-free or having celiac, but she gave me so much information about how I can really work with not only working with my gut, but beyond my gut. So I'm going to let Jennifer talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I'm not here to make everybody gluten-free. I'm here to help you understand it and see if it's a fit for you. So yes, if you have celiac disease or you are gluten intolerant, you need to live a 100% gluten-free lifestyle. No ifs, ands, or buts. People say, I can have a little. No, you can't. So I'm the big, bad, mean mama that says no. But if you are eating food, excuse me, and you are noticing that, wow, that's not sitting well with me, right? And just like Karen, you just said that, I'm sorry.
I know it gets y'all choked up. It's such a passionate topic.
Pollen in the air. So you notice that you feel a difference in your pizza night now, and that does happen to us over time. But also, Dr. Tom O'Brien, who is a functional medicine doctor, he likes to tell people that nobody can digest gluten, right? So when you start thinking about that, it's like, what does that mean, right? Because we notice that, gosh, I eat and I don't feel good, but then we think, oh, I ate too much. And that's your excuse. Or, oh, I'm stuffy and I was outside, or I have a headache and, oh, I did too much today. We have reasonings behind that where it can be your gut. It can be the food that you've been eating. So when you start to realize that, hey, that pizza really isn't sitting well with me, that's something to note and to keep watch of and keep track of other foods that might be bothering you. Because if it is gluten, you want to address that, because gluten can really mess up your gut. And I know you're all about gut health and finding that balance for your hormones and all of that. And when you're feeding your gut gluten and it's causing inflammation and it's causing your hormones to be out of whack because your gut's so out of whack, then that's not going to give you a good end result, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things I think when we were younger, we would have, the PMS bloating, and maybe it was 2 days out of the month. We're now in midlife, because our hormones are so erratic, we might be bloated, 20 days out of the month, and we're not really looking at what it is that we're eating.
Yeah,
And like you
yeah.
said, some of the other effects, it could be that this gluten that I think is just causing the bloat could also be causing my brain fog or my headaches.
Hmm.
We talked about
Hmm.
skin irritations.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
so for somebody like me who doesn't is not classified as gluten intolerant or celiac disease, I do notice that I feel better when I eat less gluten. Is it okay if I lean towards a more gluten-free diet? Is that going to affect me negatively? Am I doing something to that's detrimental? Like, what should I be looking for if I don't have an issue, but I definitely want to feel better?
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So again, you want to keep track, like what is bothering you, what is irritating you. And if you think, okay, it is gluten, first of all, what's gluten, right? That's wheat, rye, and barley. And it's what kind of binds things together in our food, right? So those are your basics. But if that's really bothering you, you can wake up and have celiac disease and have never had it before in your life. You can at any age. I mean, one of my good friends, Mary, she was diagnosed at 82. She's like,
Yes.
Jen, oh my goodness. I'm like, okay. And you can be gluten intolerant and not know that for years and then figure it out when you start to, like you said, later in life, some
Right.
things catch up to you, and then you're starting to feel things more. You're being more mindful about things because other things are slowing down. You're not chasing kids, you're not running around, you're not doing as much maybe as you were previously, so you're more mindful of how your body's reacting to things, right? So that could be but you are not going to hurt yourself by being gluten free.
Okay.
The misconception, Karen, is that so many people say, oh, I'm going on a gluten-free diet to feel better. And then I'm like, oh, tell me about that. And then they basically tell me that they go to the gluten-free aisle at the supermarket and that's what they're eating. Well, friends, if you're going to trade gluten-filled processed foods for gluten-free processed foods, that's not going to help you. That could be detrimental, right? But eating gluten-free in a healthy manner is absolutely not going to be detrimental. It can enhance your health, and it can enhance your gut health because it's really going to bring that inflammation down for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that you pointed that out. And processed food is processed food, guys. It does not matter if it's gluten-free or not gluten-free. So don't, exactly like you said, don't go down the aisle and think, well, now I'm dieting. I'm going to get
Yeah.
skinny if
Yeah.
I eat these things. Actually, you could be making matters worse for yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
like you said, for somebody like me that doesn't really have an issue,
Yeah.
enjoying pizza night, maybe instead of going with the thin crust, I order a gluten-free small pizza for myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's going to help keep that irritation down. I love that idea. And
Right.
you know
Right.
what? Like you said, just because you're not born with celiac doesn't mean you can't get it over time. My father-in-law, I think, when was it? It must have been about 4 or 5 years ago. He had a surgery,
Mm.
and post whatever the surgery, post surgery, he started having gluten intolerances, and they have now gone to a gluten-free life. He feels so much better. It was wild.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
had an issue before his
Mhm.
surgery. So
Yeah. It
does
can,
happen.
and that's true, Karen, for any intolerance. It can pop up on us at any time. That's why when people say, well, he's not allergic to this or she's not allergic to this, we're okay. But down the road, you never know. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And we get a lot of women will tell me that they never had issues with cheese or dairy.
Oh,
Which
yeah,
obviously
that's a big
cheese
one.
is part of dairy, but being able to eat yogurt back in the day was not a big deal. Now they eat yogurt and they're like, man, I feel terrible. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, you're right. As we get older, our body just doesn't work the way it did before. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Jennifer's going to give us a great piece of information. What am I sending out to these lovely ladies in this group?
Oh yeah, so I have, if you are interested in trying out the gluten-free lifestyle, I have a gluten-free mom's starter guide, and it gives you 5 steps on how to start living gluten-free the right way. So just 5 steps that you can implement right away, really. Very easy. Take that overwhelm away and get started. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. And it
Yeah,
really
sure.
boils down to a lot of people, they think that we have to overhaul everything. And like you said, 5 simple things can make a huge difference. I mean, think
Yeah.
about those of you that, let's say you gave up soda for 30 days or whatever, and you're like, man, what a world of difference that made. just those small tweaks make a
Yes.
huge difference. Jennifer, thank you for joining us in our group. I know that gut health is a huge topic in this group, and everybody has different questions pertaining to gut health and tied to mental health, gut health tied to hormone health, gut health tied to skin irritations or allergies. And so it could all go back to that gluten intolerance. And so I will definitely, ladies, have all of Jennifer's information posted. And so you can reach out to her. You can follow her on Instagram. She's also on Facebook. And if you do have a gluten intolerance, or if you do have celiac in your family, whether it's you, one of your kiddos, your spouse, even your best friend, she does have a closed Facebook group where you post recipes and tips.
Oh yeah, we have a lot in that group. I do challenges, we have recipes, lots of inspiration. I do a class every Tuesday in there. So a lot of good information to help you create a gluten-free lifestyle that works for you.
Right. And that's the key word, lifestyle, something that we can do as a daily habit that's not going to be super interruptive to anything. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, Jennifer.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Again, guys, everything will be posted and you can get in touch with her. If you have any questions for me, let me know. Otherwise, guys, I will see you next Tuesday for another Talk About It Tuesday with Karen.